Oh, the streets are cold and gray, but the fire in our hearts won't stray from the pitch where dreams collide. We'll stand together side by side. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, when the Spurs go marching in, I wanna be there in that number. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, from the north to Wembley's light, under stars we own the night.
Hello, welcome back to Project Spurs. After 115 days, finally we can say Tottenham Hotspur won a Premier League fixture. Thank God for that. It felt longer than 115 days, that's for sure. Now back with three great friends and Tottenham fans. Obviously, we're missing our resident German friend in Phil. He has been to see the doctors this morning. Unfortunately, he fell down the stairs yesterday. He's injured his back and ribs and chest, and so we wish him the best. He has been to see the Tottenham medical staff this morning. They have told him that he has ruptured his ACL and he's out for the next 12 to 18 months. Not sure how you rupture an ACL from falling down the stairs, but Phil has been to see the very best at Tottenham Hotspur, and that has been confirmed today. So we do wish you all the best, Phil. Unfortunately, get us a signature from Xavi Simons while you're there. But yeah, Cal's back with us. I think he's kind of shadowing in there, and I'm not sure if he's actually with us or not. So we'll kind of go to our resident. Brummy is back with us after a couple of weeks hiatus. Our friend here, he's been wearing that black tie. He's been wearing that white shirt for a long time now. And it's purely because of Tottenham winning a game. Now, he did say when we win a fixture in the Premier League, he will take that off. Are you going to do that now, Si?
I will certainly do that now. First things first, guys. It's great to be back. Great to finally be talking about a win. Here it comes. She says something.
What the hell?
Come on!
What the hell is this?
All aboard the Deserby Express!
Oh
Next
my
stop,
God.
Premier League survival! Woo! Come on, you Spurs!
Why do I feel like I've just joined the village people? For fuck's sake.
That's the best moment. That's the best moment of Project Spurs so far. That's
the
unbelievable.
best moment we've had. Joseph, how are you going to top that one?
I'm not topping that one. There's no chance. I haven't got anything else on underneath, so I'm not taking this on. That was incredible. That was amazing. The music as well was perfect.
I had the music ready. Si, our resident Brummy Spurs fan, has finally got to take off the white shirt and black tie. Tottenham, after 115 days, finally secured 3 points in the Premier League. I don't know about you, Cal, but that's actually quite a nice weekend. Or not, Cal?
He's still speechless. He's still speechless at sight.
Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't, Cal. How about you, Joseph? Was it a good weekend for you, other than the terrible AC Milan versus Juventus game? Because that was absolutely shocking.
Yeah, it was. But no, it was finally a win. I mean, look, we'll get into the game and we'll kind of discuss about Tottenham's chances. But at least we just got a win. 3 points for the first time in so long. We've just got to, it's something. It's something. I'm gonna put out some positivity now because I'm not feeling still completely positive. But just thank God we got a win. Like we needed it. We've got to hope that this can galvanize the squad to really try and salvage this season and make some kind of comeback to get out of this relegation zone. But thank God we won a game. Like I don't remember. I truly don't remember a podcast on Project Spurs where we won a game. Maybe Atletico Madrid, that one Atletico Madrid game. I truly don't know another one, and that's crazy for this podcast. So we finally got a win, boys. Like let's just try and enjoy what we can. I mean, obviously it comes with a couple of caveats because that's Tottenham Hotspur for you. But you know what, we got to take what we can get. So 3 points, definitely happy with it.
Yeah, we can't have anything nice, can we? We can't just have like a win and we'll come out of it unscathed. Tottenham, obviously we're getting to it, but they lost Xavi Simons and for the season and for the large part of next season. But obviously Dominic Solanke's injured. It doesn't sound like that's going to be too bad. But even us, we lost Phil. Phil went down with injury. So we even us. And Ian was going to be joining us tonight, but he's ill. He's got the 2 bob bits, so even he's out. So that's disappointing.
We got to perform in Sai. Some players have stepped up in those moments, and we've got that with Sai. So
yeah,
this is what we need from Tottenham, and this is what we got from Sai. So we got to be happy with that.
Well, we've been doing this podcast for 5 months now, 5 months, and we've seen 3 wins. maybe 4 if we're lucky. So
it's generally crazy saying that. This is a Tottenham podcast. I think starting this, none of us was expecting that.
No.
Like, I think we're probably thinking, when you think of Tottenham podcast, you're thinking like Champions League nights, you're thinking European football, big signings, all this kind of stuff. We're like, since this podcast has been, I think Tottenham have been a relegation team. It's crazy to think like it's like the same as a Wolves podcast. It's mental.
I think we might stop after this season because I don't know what'll happen if we carry on.
We're the downfall.
I think Cal might strip if we carry on at this point. Cal, are you still with us, or are you still in?
I am still with us, mate. I am still with us.
Perfect. And how was your weekend, other than the Tottenham win? Because I felt sun was shining. Tottenham won, had a massive stake, which was great. It was a perfect weekend in the end for me, other than West Ham winning.
Yeah, I was kind of good because my Spurs weekend started on Friday night going to the 21s. So we had a great win against Leicester to get through to the playoffs. The quarterfinals to get through the playoffs. Another good cameo for Tiernan Thompson as well. So can't really complain on that one. Then Spurs winning, and I was painting a fence while Spurs were playing Wolves. So I got 44 foot worth of fencing painted whilst listening to a shit game of football, but we won. So I was happy.
Well, can you make sure you're painting the other 44 for next weekend so we get another win? That'd be ideal. Obviously
Sunday
it's
night,
going to be
7 p.m. Get the paintbrush out, Cal.
Get that paintbrush out, Cal. 7 p.m. next weekend. That's going to be a tough game, but we'll get into that. But we're getting to the game itself. Obviously, Tottenham did win. We did beat Wolves. Let's be fair. We were pretty poor for a large section of the game. I don't know about you, but I could hardly see half the pitch on the TV. I don't know about anybody else, but I really struggled to see in the first half where the ball was going down the
bottom,
the camera guide, and in the goal. I couldn't tell. So if there was going to be a goal, I don't think I'd have noticed. But we did get one right at the death. But as I wrote on my article, Anthony Kinski from Madrid nightmare to Molineux hero. Obviously, we'll get into that, but really, really pleased for Anthony Kinski. But so I just started with you. You're just going, obviously, looking at the team and initially going into the game. Most of us were excited. Thought we probably were going to get 3 points. We did get those 3 points. Do you think this is kind of a catalyst now for us?
Yeah, I do, guys. I've got to be honest. I think they've got that weight off their shoulders now. That 3 points since December. was the last time. So it's got to fill them with some sort of confidence now, each of those players. Obviously, the injuries is the little blemish on it, but I think they're going to have the confidence to go forward now and put on a good performance in the last 4 games.
Cal, how are you feeling after seeing the results, seeing other results around you? Because for that whole 5 minutes that we were out of the relegation, it felt absolutely incredible. Honestly, at one point I was a bit sad, but I felt a bit like emotional. I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God, we're 17th. Yeah. And like a whole weight fell off me. And then all of a sudden it went in the group chat, oh, West Ham has scored, and that just went back to normal again.
It kind of felt like a cycle was kind of breaking a little bit. It was the first time we've obviously been out of relegation for nearly a month now, something like that. So something seems to be going our way, considering not much did in that game, to be honest. But it was a little glimmer of hope, but I still felt that something was lacking, to be honest. I know I'm a little bit more pessimistic than some of the guys here. I'm probably spent too much time with Joseph on podcasts the last couple of weeks. He's proper bringing my mood down.
That's why you two are on that side of the screen and me and Sire on this side of the screen.
As long as I'm not in the same screen as Blinking Sai, let's put it that way. I don't need the village people dancing around me. Thank you very much. I think we'd be all right. But realistically, I kind of had a little more glimmer of hope, but it still weren't enough, was it? No matter if we did get that win, it still wasn't enough to take us over that threshold yet. So I was still reserved. And I think I was texting you Saturday night saying, still can't have nice things, can we? We're still kind of here, there, and thereabouts, but still we're only the bridesmaid and not the bride for the day.
Yeah. The worrying thing was that we did get out of it, Joseph, for all of 5 minutes, and then West Ham went and scored in the death, whereas last week for us, it was the opposite way round. If we'd have just held on for those 3 minutes, we would be out of it right now, but we are very much still in the thick of it. We are currently odds-on favourites to get relegated, but like Cal says, we can't seem to have nice things because a win seems to caveat with 2 injuries and one that, unfortunately for Xavi Simons, is season ending for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll fully get onto all of that. I mean, just my thoughts on everything as a whole. As much as I'm really happy we got a win, I am feeling slightly less positive than I was after the Brighton game for somewhat, because I was really impressed by the performance against Brighton. Brighton have been really solid team this year, or especially in recent weeks. They after the game against us, they go and beat Chelsea. I know they're a bit in free fall, Chelsea, but they go and beat Chelsea 3-0. They just push them aside, and we gave them a really good game. We probably deserved to win the game against Brighton, and I felt really positive about that. But I mean, I thought we were really poor, really, really poor against Wolves, and this is a terrible Wolves team that have kind of accepted relegation. They have no real fight in them. They haven't had, West Ham went and beat them. What was it, 4-5-0? I was kind of hoping that we would go and win this game. I was kind of hoping we'd go and dominate it. And how we performed in that Brighton game, it gave me so much confidence and a bit of positivity. And, you get the 2 injuries, you just about scrape by. It just doesn't give me a lot of confidence going into the next run of games. I mean, Villa away is a really tough match on its own anyway, even with players fit. They're challenging for European football, and I know they've got their European tie, but it's still the fact that the league's is as important to them. So, yeah, I mean, obviously everything would have been different if West Ham didn't score that equaliser. I mean, I couldn't believe that, that 1-2 where we scored as Everton scored, and it was like, oh my God, we're out of the relegation zone. I can't believe it. And it does make you realise how quick these things can change. If we just randomly get a good result somewhere, we could easily be out of it and West Ham could be in it. And at points, it didn't really feel like that was ever going to come for Tottenham. But I remember in the group chat, people were celebrating. I was like, hold on, the game hasn't finished. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because we do that as Tottenham fans. We get ahead of ourselves too quickly. And then obviously West Ham go and score go and get ahead again. So, yeah, I mean, look, we're happy with the 3 points, of course, but it's just, I don't feel as confident as I did even after the Brighton game, which is a bit worrying, because the performance itself was really, really crap. It was a really poor game of football. There was not any kind of creation. We couldn't keep the ball. We couldn't pass the ball very well. I mean, even at points, Wolves were just sitting off us, but we weren't doing anything. We weren't creating anything. There was no real intent. I mean, Solanke was awful again. Did absolutely nothing all game. Xavi was trying, but he was still struggling to get anything truly going. There was no one with any kind of... It just didn't feel like we had any ability on the pitch. We felt like we were as good as Wolves, and Wolves are a team that have just got relegated. So,
I thought the performance was okay in the first half. I thought they were quite shaky, and I think it was two really poor teams struggling for a bit of confidence. But we didn't grow into the game. Kind of let them grow into the game for large parts of it, and I could just had this horrible feeling that perhaps they might go on and score, but obviously they didn't. First half, I thought we were better than we were in the second. I don't think there's really anyone standouts for me other than Rodrigo Bentancur. I think we are a different team with Bentancur on the pitch. He controls the game and obviously sort of mops up everything in and around him, which we desperately have needed for some time. But Xavi Simons, again, like he is lost out on that left-hand side. We are sort of trying to plug a hole at the moment. But Conor Gallagher, again, very, very high energy out of him. And he started all of the pressing. And I guess when you're down there, you do need you need these runners, you need people that are going to put high level amounts of work rate in. And you kind of get that from Gallagher and Basuma and Bentancur as a three. So I can get the whole idea of behind the starting 11, just really struggling in these wings. Yeah, Cal, like the left and the right hand side are just poor, really.
Painful, poor, decrepit, falling apart. What do we say? It's like the limitations are so apparent now. We are devoid up and down them flanks. I mean, we had Simmons and Spence on one side who both wanted to play in the same space. We then had Porro and Muani. I mean, Porro, I thought it was one of his more middle games, not a great game, not a poor game either. There was moments. Muani, just frustrates me. I think that's the nicest way of putting it. And the creativity is just not there. We used to be able to cross a ball into the box. We can't do that. We don't have, and I hate to say it, but someone like a Brennan Johnson, I'm not saying Brennan, but someone who will come in from the wing late to score these low balls that they try and put into the box. I mean, it's just lacking, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're then hoping stuff comes from the middle, and instead we've got Basuma, who I still don't think should be in the team, but he's being forced to play there. Bentancur, who's obviously class, very good press resistant midfielder, but doesn't really create. And then you've got Gallagher, who the more and more I see him, I think, what point does he have to play in this team, to be honest? Because I can't see him being really relevant. So we're kind of so limited across, and it's just amplified that we can't create from the wings. We're getting nothing through the middle. And yet, like Joseph said, you've got Dom, who had another really devoid game. He's just sitting there like a spare piece. So it's weakness, but the wings are a real glaring issue because we cannot create, and we cannot even overload on them, to be honest, because the teams just close us out.
We can't do that. We can't overlap either, because we've got on the left hand side is what I said. I put out before the game, and my concern was that we're back to being imbalanced again because we've got two players wanting to cut inside. I think that was a large part of what was so different between the Brighton game is that we were imbalanced. We need a player that is left-footed to go around whoever that is in the central or the forward areas to get across in the box. The amount of times
I don't know why we're not looking at Sousa. Why are we not looking at Sousa? And maybe they don't think he's ready.
Back from a slight injury, didn't he? To make the bench, apparently, because he wasn't on the bench the week before.
We desperately call it.
There's some, and the thing is as well now, I mean, and this is where I think we've got to give a bit of sympathy. I mean, I think everyone does have sympathy for De Zerbi and the situation he's obviously had to undertake. But like, even training now, how many attackers has he got? What, one attacker to train with? You know, who's going to be available to play in these games? We haven't got anyone. It's Richarlison and Tell and Moani, I guess. That's what we're going to be seeing against Villa, I imagine. And that's just not good enough, is it? Tell's on and off. Sometimes he can do well, sometimes he isn't. Richarlison is exactly the same. Kind of Moani hasn't shown anything really in a Spurs shirt other than maybe one game against PSG. And it's just we can't expect to stay up with that kind of attack because they're not going to score goals. And we're going to need goals, especially the way that De Zerbi wants to play. We're going to need goals. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the most important thing is getting 3 points. And we got that on the weekend. That was what was most important. We did it. So I'm happy about that. But it just doesn't give us confidence going into the next couple of games because that's our easiest game left. That was our easiest game left. Villa's going to be really tough. Although Chelsea are in free fall, they're going to turn up against us. 100% they will because it's Tottenham and they have a chance to relegate us. Everton have been a great team all season long, especially away from home. And Leeds, if they beat us, they're all but safe. So all of those games have a jeopardy for each team, and it's going to be so much tougher than that game. And we did not turn up. We could have easily drawn that game. We got quite lucky to win it overall, and that's what's the worrying case. And again, you just got to hope that West Ham can drop points as well and can struggle. And again, that's something that we've just got to hope can happen.
We always seem to struggle against Wolves, though, don't we? I mean, they backed up 5 and then 4, and we just lacked to create. I think against Villa will come out a bit more, so we might be able to create a little bit more. And also with the Villa game, it's in between the Europa League semi-final, so
they got. You got to have someone who can actually create a goal, though, Si. We've got about the endless options of a dead duck at the moment. That's
most
the problem.
of our goals, the past 2 games have just been from pressing a lot and winning the ball back high up in their area. Not really, more.
No, Bergvall, for instance.
To be honest.
And the thing is,
you look at the Bergvall guard against Brighton, obviously pressing high, didn't he? It sounds like Bergvall might be the one that's going to come in to replace. Well, it'd be either Bergvall or Matisse Tell that will replace Xavi. For me, I think I would bring both of them in and drop Kolo Muani down. Kolo, for me, just doesn't look there. But it was nice seeing how animated he was on the bench when we scored the winner. That really surprised me to see how excited and happy he was because I'm just not seeing it on the pitch from him. But it looks like it will probably be either or coming in to replace Xavi because De Zerbi has sort of said that doesn't like to make lots of changes. Look, I know this sounds strange. We're unbeaten in the last 2. I know that we're unbeaten. I know how crazy that sounds.
Said a couple of weeks ago, it doesn't matter how we play. We just want. We need the 3
It doesn't matter now. So the results are what's most important. And you look at our last 5. Obviously, we've in terms of the Premier League, I think it's nearly as very similar to that of West Ham. They've just won. They've won more than us. And last week we could have won that ourselves. But yeah, it's I wasn't too disheartened by it because the result is what that matters. If we can just scrap in and get some more results here, get one against Leeds, get maybe against Everton. Hopefully, you might get something against Villa. Chelsea, as we know, because they're now in the FA Cup final. The game's being moved, which essentially means they could essentially relegate us if they beat us, if results go that way, which is quite worrying when you think about us having to go and get a result at Stamford Bridge, which we're traditionally not great on. But in terms of heroes for the game, I thought Anthony Kinski, again, right at the end there, outstanding save. Again, for me, Si, I thought he was excellent. He looked brilliant. He looked very good against Brighton. He looked really assured against Sunderland. And then obviously at the weekend against Wolves, I thought it was very good. And that save right at the end, that's redemption for me. And I've wrote an article on my Twitter account if you'd like to go and read it, obviously talking about Madrid nightmare to Molineux hero. I think he was a real bright spark in these last 3 games. And it's a real credit to his, I guess, mental strength, I would have thought, because that's what happened to him in Madrid. That would have knocked a lot of people.
Yeah, he's coming to his own the past 3 games. I mean, the confidence he's got when he's getting the ball played back to him, and then he's even starting attacks. He looks a shadow of the person that was struggling those first 15 minutes against Atletico Madrid. But I can't see personally Vicario getting back in when he's fit. I mean, Kinski with the ball is a lot better. I know there's one instance against Wolves. He took a quick goal kick, and we were on the attack straight away, putting I think it was Mawani or Tell through. Vicario should not be back in, and Kinski is showing what I think a lot of us thought he had from when he first joined us. And he's, definitely a big, bright spot against Wolves, mate, 100%.
Joseph, if you go back to look at the incident with Xavi where he goes down injured, actually the ball that comes to him that he's running onto is actually from Kinski. He gets it from, I think it's a corner, hits it, and it's an unbelievable pass. His distribution is fantastic. I think he's really good. And I've said before, and I don't know if you agree, but I think we need to stick with him because we all know Vicario potentially not going to be in next season. Let's stick with him now and see where we can go with him next season because like De Zerbi's already said, someone like Kevin Danze is going to be here next year. He said it in the press conference. He's going to be here. Kinski's doing what a lot of us thought and hoped that he could do. And I think he's showing that, and with more games, depending on where we are next season, he's there. He's at the club. I think he's a bright spark.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think we've all wanted Kinski to have his chance earlier on in the season. I think we all wanted it before that Atletico Madrid tie, and I feel like he was thrown into a game that was going to be always tough for Tottenham. And yeah, he made some mistakes, and he was rightfully taken off in that moment. But it was a tough moment for him. But he's bounced back from it so well. You know, I think we've all been so impressed with how he's played, not just, shots of him. But again, De Zerbi wants his goalkeeper to be able to play out from the back. That's how he's always played. And Vicario can't do that, but Kinski can. He can play well on the ball. It's why he wants to get on the ball. It's why he got on the ball in those moments against Atletico Madrid, because he's used to playing out with it. And some of his distribution is exactly what you want to see. It was really impressive. So, like you just said, I think we all expect Vicario to be going at the end of the year. I imagine he'll end up going to Italy somewhere. He's obviously I think he's entering 30. Vicario. I mean, I'm not even sure the age of Kinski. He must be in his early 20s. He could have a long positive. Exactly, he could have a long positive career at Tottenham, and he needs to be the starter for now. I mean, look, in the summer you're going to have to bring in some kind of competition, whether that be somebody you expect to come in and start straight away, or someone to be the backup, or to fight for that number one spot. But if Kinski can have a good end to this season, there's no reason why he shouldn't be the number one goalkeeper for next year. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for him. It's good to see that him bounce back from what was a really difficult moment for him. But he's really everyone's got a bit more trust in him now, and I think all Tottenham fans want to see him try and help keep us up for the rest of the year.
That's correct. He's actually just to correct. He's 23. He's just turned 23, but Vicario's 29. So in goalkeeping terms, Vicario's about to come into his prime. But I actually think he's regressing in terms of what we saw when he first joined the football club. Kinski, for me, especially when you look at the back line in the last two games. Obviously, I was there live for last week, and then obviously watched it on TV. But live last week, could see the defenders look more comfortable. And we've all probably been in teams where you might have had a ringer in goal once where it's not actually a goalkeeper and you're like, oh my God, do not let that ball go back there. And then when you've got your goalkeeper, you're like, oh, thank God for that. We got a keeper in. It just, there's that sort of...
they look a lot more confident knocking the ball back to him and everything, don't they? And if it was Vicario, 100% agree, guys. 100%.
Yeah, no,
I mean, the amount of times Vicario just cleared the ball out for a throw into the other team, and I barely saw that from Kinski since he's come in. Every clearance, even if it's not the perfect one, it will go up the pitch at least. Vicario half the time he panics and it goes out for a throw in the final in our final third. It's just we just look so much more assured.
The way Kinski came out against Wolves when Danze didn't, the header back to him wasn't powerful enough, and Kinski come out. So I can't imagine Vicario. You just know somewhere along the line something had gone wrong there with Vicario.
Yeah,
Could
he's
have
come
been
flying out,
twice.
hasn't he? Made a big save. Took control of the situation at 23 years old. Also, I don't know if you've seen this, and if you haven't, it's obviously something quite nice to go and watch back. But from the save on the free kick, players are trying to gather around him to say well done, and he's telling them to stop and to focus from the corner. That's a big difference. But in terms of how he played at the weekend, obviously 90 minutes, he only made 2 saves, but one was a goal, a season-winning
But
save.
both of them
because
were.
if that
Both of
got
them
it-
were.
Yeah, but I think that one right at the end is a season-winning save. Accurate passes, 77% accuracy. Accurate long balls was only 53%. It's a shame one of them resulted. It's obviously not his fault, but it resulted in the injury for Xavi Simons. Recoveries for he has 34 touches and he got a foot mob rating of 8.1. I thought he was excellent again, as I say. So I'm really pleased for him. I really am.
100%.
Tell you what, the free kick reminded me. Obviously, the last moment, it reminded me of the free kick that Liverpool had when Vicario was in goal. Obviously, I know it's different time in the game, but in that moment, you had no trust in Vicario to make the save, and he made a mistake. He did not go anywhere. It wasn't a good free kick from Szoboszlai. It was a very average free kick, but Vicario made it look good by getting nowhere near it. And you're thinking, if Vicario was in goal in that moment, you're thinking that's a goal because João Gomez puts it in the top corner. It was a good free kick. But Kinski knew exactly what he was going to do and got ahead of it and was ready for it. And it's just that's what you want from your keeper. You have trust in him. You have belief in him. We don't have that in Vicario right now. And we do
much better
Kinski,
footwork.
so.
Much better footwork from Kinski
100%.
on the goal because the Liverpool one, Vicario's on his tiptoes. If you watch it back, on his tiptoes,
Made no sense.
It's ridiculous.
But João Palhinha did come on, Cal, and I know some people are like, "Oh no, why is João Palhinha coming on?" I really like João Palhinha. I'm sorry if that upsets anybody, but I do. He was the hero again for the second time against Wolves. Obviously, saved us at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which I was at when he came running over and did his Brummy Sai impression of stripping. And then obviously at this weekend again saved us, but this time with the victory. Obviously, look, decent finish, but he was on his toes ready for it. I don't know what Richarlison was shooting at, but it wasn't the goal. But again, João Palhinha coming on, saving us. And I just like João Palhinha. I don't know what it is. I just like that type of footballer, Cal.
Definitely a very good player there. Whether we class him as a traditional Spurs player is another story. And I think that's what a lot of people question him, because we questioned Højbjerg in the past. We questioned Wanyama in the past. We've questioned Schneiderlin when we tried to get him in the past. We questioned Benjamin Stambouli. It's just that sort of traditional, all gruff, ball winning, put you up in the air player that it's not classy enough for us, is it? He doesn't do classy things, but when he does step up, he's got us crucial points this year. I think, like you say, against Wolves, he's got us 4 points out of a possible 6, and that's how embarrassing we are that we're saying that 4 points against Wolves is amazing this season. But he stepped up. He's got crucial goals there. I think he's got a couple of other big goals as well. So by having that, he's done something that we needed, because if we didn't get these points this weekend, we was definitely guaranteed relegated 9 times out of 10 chances. So he's done the dirty work. He's made something happen that, unfortunately, all of our, by this point, we'd obviously lost Solanke and Simmons, hadn't we? So all of 5 attacking players hadn't been able to do. That had already either started or come onto the pitch. So he's done what we needed him to do. He's produced the goods for us. He's done a great tweet or Instagram message. I think he posted it on a number of platforms afterwards, saying it wasn't about me scoring. It was about the team today. It was about what I did. And if I'm honest, I think that there is a good player there. And I don't rate him personally as someone who I would run to immediately, but he does the business for us when we've needed it this year. And if Spurs could get him for 15 million, you'd bite Bayern's arm off for it. Anything more than that, and I mean, we're paying 30 million in a championship. Oh, I didn't say that.
No, I get that. I think he'll do very well in the championship, actually, but I think he'd do quite well in the Premier League regular game time. we need someone with a bit of bite and still in the middle. Højbjerg, for instance, would have been absolutely perfect the last couple of seasons. I think it would have really, really helped. And obviously we let him go. But you are right. We kind of stick our nose up at this type of player. And in the modern world at the moment, we kind of do need those type of players. But caveat that, you need two players in and around him that can create, because otherwise he is, and he does, and on times he's trying to do two men's jobs because he's trying to get up the pitch, and then he needs to just be sitting and clearing up. But as you say, obviously, Jason, just coming to you, Dominic Solanke went off with an apparent hamstring injury, it looked like. Apparently it doesn't seem to be serious, but it might be that he's out for a couple of games. What's your feelings on Dominic Solanke?
I don't know. I mean, I was really hoping that he'd have an impact since coming back, but he just hasn't. And he doesn't seem to be that vocal point up front. I thought against Sunderland he was really poor. Against Brighton, I think he showed a bit more. He was quite physical with Van Heck and linked up the play well. But against Wolves, he was non-existent again. And we're not in those moments where we can have players be non-existent. We need them to be wanting the ball, wanting to do everything they can, getting every first touch, winning every second ball. And unfortunately, he just doesn't seem to be doing it at the moment. And the problem we've got is we haven't really got anyone to turn to. I mean, right now for me, the next game he's on the bench, but then you put in Richarlison in the starting lineup, and we've seen how poor he's been as well in moments. So it's a really tough one. It's worrying how poor our attack has been because, again, like we said about Colomwani, the one thing I have seen in the last couple of weeks from Colomwani is effort. I think he is trying. He just isn't good enough. He's not strong enough. He's not fast enough. He just can't match up to what the Premier League wants from him. But he is trying to get the ball. He's trying to run with the ball, but he just can't seem to really get anything going. But I'm seeing that from some players. I'm not even seeing that from Solanke, though. I'm not seeing the effort that we need from him. So I was very disappointed. Obviously, the injury, we just don't need another injury. So we've got to hope that he can be okay. But again, we need to see more from him. And the one thing I want to say as well, just quickly on Paulinho, because I really like Paulinho as a player. I think I really like his attitude. I love how he defends. And we've needed that for so long. I think it just depends on what you aspire to be, because the way I look at it is when you look at Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, their midfielders can do it all. They can do it all. They've got that grit to make good challenges, but they can also progress the ball really well. They can do a bit of everything. Right now, obviously, I know that the situation Tottenham are in, I think Paulinho should be playing because he has something that we need in terms of we know he can perform in that area of the pitch. And we don't have that from other players. But I think if you're aspiring to be a top team again, you need to go and find the player that can do everything. So maybe, you're not going to look at Paulinho permanently. But right now, I think he should be playing because he can, you'll get a 7 out of 10 from him. And you'll probably get an 8, 9 out of 10 from him in terms of defensive contributions because he will tackle people well. He will put a good challenge in. He'll break up the play. You just don't expect him to do anything more than that. And in moments, that's great. It's just in the future, if you want to be, up there again, you need to be, you need a player like Caicedo, you need a player like Declan Rice, you need a player like Enzo Fernandez, Gravenberch. And I don't think Paulinho is ever going to be that.
No, he's not. But they're £100 million players, aren't they? There's the big difference there is they are the
depends what Tottenham want to be, isn't it?
And it does depend on what Tottenham want to be. Unfortunately, I think, and we all know that the reality is that when Man City needs something, they go and get it, and they're decisive. We're not. We'll look for second rate. Is he second rate? Yes, probably in comparison to a number of those players. But for me, I really like him. But I have been quite impressed with. I was very impressed with Basuma and Bentancur against Brighton. I thought they were both very, very good in that first half. So I guess it's a nice thing for us at the moment to have a number of midfielders that could probably come in. The issue that we've got is the lacking of creativity. And now up front, we don't have anybody, as Ian said in the chat, we don't have anybody that can hold the ball up because Richarlison is dreadful at holding the ball up. He is really poor at that. He can't play with his back to a goal. Moani showed some promise like that when we played him in what's the game where who was that against? Where he closed the ball down at home, closed the ball down on the keeper. Champions League game. I can't remember who that was against. Closed it down, knocked it back, and we scored. I can't remember who that was against. I can't remember. But that type of thing we could also need. So maybe Mawani moves into the centre and we have Matisse Tell and Richarlison.
Can't see it working though. As much as I get what Ian's saying, it's just so poor. I mean, I don't know the technicality on it. I'm sure somebody will know it. But is there any chance any of those players that have finished their season can come back and contribute at all? I mean, because right now
is closed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't know how it works because obviously I don't know if it comes in with age or anything like that. I don't know, but just
ideally
right now, Will Lancashire would start for me.
Yeah,
he would start
ideally it would have been, but I think if we remember all the way back when I first started doing these, what did I say, Cal? Do not let Will Lancashire go out of the club, and we did.
Don't let Donnelly go either. Look here, we've got no natural 10 now. We've got no natural 9. And
are we going to try and push Bergvall into the 10, or are we going to keep?
He's not a natural 10, though, is he?
No.
He's just not.
Well, nor is Gallagher, but I don't know what the answers are at the moment. Anyway, but Man United are 2-0 up currently against Brentford. They've just scored a second. That is the difference, right? Both of us right down there last season, and then United have gone and spent some money, and look what's happening to them. But yeah, go ahead, Carl.
The only positive that I could potentially see, and this is maybe clutching at straws, is that, like you guys said, against Brighton and even against Wolves, a lot of our goals have come from high pressing. So maybe if you do have the option of sort of workhorses of like Gray, Gallagher, and Bergvall, you may be able to force the issue, push the defences back, and hope, and I say hope, that someone like a Richarlison or a Tell or a Muani can get a drop goal situation, something like that, where they can have enough space created, pushed back enough that we can sort of nab something. But maybe I'm hoping for something to happen, and but
the thing is, you don't know, do you? Because the result at the weekend, while we didn't play very well, we got a win, and you could see the happiness from the players. Who knows what that could do for them for confidence? Because it could be the case they're just so shot of it, just like us. But Ian's asking in the chat about Mason Melia. I've got my opinion, which again I did put out today because I've had a few questions on Mason Melia and James Wilson in the 21s. I'll give my opinion. Cal, you can come in with yours because I'm pretty sure we're going to say exactly the same thing. James Wilson is nowhere near ready for first team football, in my opinion. He's pretty small for start with. He's he looks about 5'4", very, very small. Surprised again that he's left for senior football to come and play under 21 football. Very surprised by that. Looks decent. Physically, nowhere near ready for the Premier League. Mason Melia is taller, maybe about 5'10" by the looks of things, slightly smaller than Callum Olasesi. That was my measuring stick because obviously I couldn't do much else. I haven't seen anything in Mason Melia in the 3 games I've watched him that makes me even be remotely excited at this point. I don't think he works hard enough. I think he's trying to adapt to the English league because he's come from the Irish, whatever the Irish Premier League, I guess it's called. It must be hugely different because he's not adapting that well to 21s, in my opinion. So I think he's quite far off, but he's adaptable. But he has been injured for a very long time. He's been injured for like 4 months. It could be that's playing a part into it, and maybe I'm being a bit harsh in what I've seen, but I can only comment on what I've seen, and it's those 3 games I've not been overly impressed with him at the moment. Cal, where do you sit with those 2?
I'm probably the same, to be honest. We've kind of seen a change of system for the 21s since maybe January. Since I would say February, since Wilson came in. They've obviously had a lot of balancing issues, I think. But on Friday night, we sort of saw a Tiernan Thompson left-hand side, Wilson right, Melia middle, with a lack of a 10 because Reece Elliott Paris was pony. But the problem is they're both trying to play the same position and they cannot play together. The height difference is an issue. The creativity is not there, and Malia is a selfish, arrogant sod. From what I've seen at his age, to be honest, he wants everything done for him. He does everything right, but then doesn't make the effort to get the ball. He makes the runs, but then doesn't move to pick up the ball. It's always got to be to his feet. So definitely a lot of adaptation to be going through there. And I mean, if we're talking about players to maybe make up the bench, I think I said to you, Gary, it was going to be Thompson, Roswell, maybe Craig, maybe Olasesi and all that, because Malia and Wilson definitely ain't anywhere near that first team at the moment.
Yeah, I think it'd be Tiernan Thompson's probably the one that should be getting the opportunity if there is a space on the bench. Obviously, one is being taken up by James Maddison at the moment. In terms of progressive midfielder, Callum Olasesi should be the one that's in and around it. I know he was injured last week and didn't play, so
I think a lot of us would like to see them, but I think, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't know how it works. Why does Maddison need to be in the match squad? Can he not just be?
So he's not allowed to be on the bench. He's not allowed to be on the bench unless he's named. So he'd have to sit in the crowd. And obviously, if he's away from home, he's not going to be sat anywhere near the team, is he? So
I guess that makes sense then. But it takes away. It does take.
Maddison, can he be playing like 15?
Well, someone said to me today that he was disappointed he didn't get any minutes at the weekend, and that he thought he was ready, but they're not trying to rush him.
They say that, but then De Zerbi said in his press conference that he's feeling pain in his knee again, which means you don't want to put him on the pitch. I mean, let's be honest here. I'm so done with the Tottenham medical staff. It's a joke. Like the fact how, again, I understand the situation we're in and that we need Xavi Simons to play. But when he's gone down like that, screaming in agony like he was, and they went, get up and carry on running. What are you doing? You're literally a professional, like doctor, whatever you do, physiotherapist. I don't even care. You're a professional. Your job is to keep them fit, and you're telling him to get up and start running to see if he can carry on. And he's done his ACL. How bad are you at your job? How bad are you at your job?
Remember, they went and saw Phil today. He only went in with a cold. He's now got a broken. He's got broken ribs.
Damaged ribs.
Who the hell is communicating with us then? Have we got a poltergeist in the chat? Jesus.
Phil was feeling a bit poorly. He's now got an ACL tear. 3rd degree, means 18 months, no walking. He's done his ribs, he's done his neck, he's done his back. Poor Ian was ready for his debut, and then all of a sudden he's gone down with an ACL.
He's got it from the medical team. The medical team are actually trying to get them all injured. I think there might be some kind of conspiracy here, because I think it's strength and
conditioning rather than anything. I think they're not.
I just couldn't believe
the quad or the hamstring.
Possibly. But I just couldn't believe they told him to get I'm sure he wanted to come back on the pitch, but you are the professionals. Xavi Simons is not. Like, he won't know exactly what's going to be going wrong with his knee in that moment. He's probably still got the adrenaline thinking, I want to get back on the pitch. I want to help the team win. You have got to be the person to go, you can't play. You've probably done something very bad to your knee, because he was riding around in play. He literally looked like he'd been shot. And I know we've seen that a lot from him, but
they did it with Kulusevski. They did it with
Dragic.
How are they? Because the thing is, as well, we're not seeing this from other medical teams in the Premier League. We're not seeing to this extent, especially. It's just not happening.
It's not like they've not had a ACL recently. I mean, they've had like 6 or 7 since 2019. In terms of answering this from Adrian. I don't believe anyone can play. Squad registrations are done, so nobody that's out on loan, depending on where they are, can come back in and play, which is a real shame because, as we said, Lancashire, Mikey Moore won Rangers Young Player of the Year as well. Could be absolutely perfect for us. Say Lancashire, Donnelly. Who else could be?
Freaking George Abbott,
Devine,
Yusuf Akramovich, Oliver Iro. I mean, we might as well be throwing coaching staff on at this point, and that's the problem. I mean, just to say about the injuries, though, I mean, Simons was not good after the Brighton game, was he? Anyway, we know it was cramp and all that, but he was in pain that day as well, and he was always being watched this week, and they've not done themselves much glory, have they, to be honest? And then Solanke going
That's
off.
been nice to him, that is, Cal.
Well, we're still before 9 o'clock, so I can't say everything that I want to say, to be honest.
Well, there is going to be a
said.
full overhaul, I guess, and there's going to be a look into things. Obviously, they got the two guys coming from Man City. They need time to review everything. I know that Vinay Venkatesham came out, didn't he, and said he'd reviewed everything within the club, and that I guess there's where appointments are going to be made. But I think that those appointments are probably going to come way too late in reality. And I don't know where you all are. And I guess we're trying to like beat around the bush and not talk about the elephant in the room, but we'll go there. Where are we all right now in terms of relegation? Because I'm kind of at the point now where I think that we're done. I don't think we're going to get out of it, which really, really pains me. And the reason I'm saying that now is because I think we've lost two players that are hugely influential over the next few weeks. And I just don't know where the goals or creativity is coming from. I hope I'm wrong. But the big sucker punch to me was when West Ham scored in the 95th minute. That was just shows their fight and hunger, desire. And we're scraping and holding on and losing more and more players. I mean, we've got 11 first-team players out with not just a couple of weeks injuries. These are months and months and months. So for me, as it pains me to say that, I do think that we will be playing Championship football next season. Cal, where are you and your heads at the moment?
I'm very much on the fence. I mean, I know we was talking last weekend saying that West Ham had a bastard run sort of thing, and so did Forest. But obviously, Forest 5-0 win, Everton dropping at the last moment, even though West Ham, if we're being honest, should have had a player sent off by VAR. But once again, that will go unchecked. But I do feel that our run is difficult. So I am kind of teetering more towards saying that we could be down. My problem is that with us losing Simmons and Solanke, we are replacing players who realistically in De Zerbi's first three fixtures, he hasn't fancied. You can see he doesn't fancy Richarlison. You could see that Tudor didn't fancy Richarlison as well. So it seems to be a running pattern, and Tell seems to still struggle. So we're kind of square pegs in round holes again, and we've lost two good starters, even if they were crap against Wolves. I just think the injuries will have such a bad impact now that we are gradually trying to scrape something. And it was quite interesting hearing the broadcasters say that they would rather West Ham go down this year from the Premier League because of the broadcast revenue they would lose with Spurs going down as well. That's been reported quite a lot. The money of us going down is ridiculous. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm very concerned. I'm very, very concerned. And I hate to say it. And I hate that's even kind of coming into my mind, but that 5 minutes was incredible. And then reality sort of set in, was like, hang on a minute, West Ham have gone and scored, and then we've lost two players here, and we've got some big games coming up. I hope I'm wrong. I'm praying and that we are. So obviously, just before we finish in about 5 more minutes, there's about 300 of you watching, which we appreciate. We haven't all been on together for a while, so thanks for so much for that. Where are you sitting with this, or do you think it is just between us and West Ham, or could even Forest or maybe even Newcastle be pulled into this?
I still think you could class Forest in it, guys. I know they won 5-0 away against Sunderland, but their running is really difficult, as is West Ham's. I know you're going to ask Joseph in a bit what he thinks. I'm pretty concrete. I know what he's going to say. But but I've got to have hope, guys. You know what I mean?
I think he's frozen. He hasn't moved for about 5 minutes.
Next stop, Premier League.
Saw that vent up anger.
You don't know what I'm going to say yet.
4 points out of 6.
Look, this is it.
One worry is the injuries. I agree with you. But, you know, without hope, what's the point? We've got to believe. We have to believe we can do it. And with that win, the confidence and the difference it could make to those players, instead of like knocking it back, playing safe, they might have more confidence now to take the player on. We've got to have hope, guys. And yeah, I still think we'll do it and West Ham will go down.
Well, I hope so. I do, obviously, really do hope so. There is just this niggling feeling that perhaps that's just one too many injuries that we can't get over and we haven't got enough in reserve. But look, let's hope that maybe Villa play a weakened team. Chelsea might even for the FA Cup. So who knows? It could happen. You just never know.
Everything does seem against us. Like you said, everybody seems against us. The injuries, the blatant penalty Everton should have had against West Ham. It just seems everything is against us. But we finally broke that duck. We've got 3 points.
Yeah.
You know, we said all along we needed that first win. So let's push on from here. Why not? Why not?
No, this is true. And in the article I wrote earlier about Roberto De Zerbi's first 3 games, obviously I looked at the comparison between Tottenham, Brighton and obviously Marseille. He picked up 4 points in his first 3 games with Brighton as well. And there was a big win against Chelsea, obviously the 4-1. And that was the catalyst for sort of launching this Brighton team. Granted, they didn't have any injuries at the time and probably had a very good squad. This might be the catalyst. It might be the case that, okay, we won 1-0 and it wasn't this big, huge result. But last week against Brighton, we should have won. We've got that now. Maybe it is that catalyst. I'm hoping it's that and not what I having a niggling feeling in the back of my head because there's too many injuries now. But Joseph, just coming to you, where are you currently with the situation? So obviously we haven't really, as a team on here, and we spoke about it in our group chat, actually spoke about it and said how we feel in relegation.
Yeah, I mean, I felt more confident after the Brighton game. I actually felt like we had a chance of fully staying up. I really felt like we could do it. I was disappointed with that Wolves game. I was very happy we got the win, but the performance I was really disappointed with. I really thought we should have been able to go there and dominate the game, win the game 3-0 and, you know, just comfortably get through that game. And that will give us more confidence. It hasn't given me confidence because I thought we played to Wolves' level. I thought we were, you know, and that they're a team that have been relegated, that haven't won many games, I mean, all season, but even recently, it looks like they've kind of given up, and we didn't take advantage of that. I think one thing that gives me a bit of confidence is I think West Ham's run is really difficult. Like, I think Brentford away would be a really tough game for any team. Arsenal, they have to win that. Arsenal have to win that if they want to win the league, and I think Arsenal will win that. Newcastle, I know they've been poor, but I expect at St. James's Park, I think Newcastle needs to start, you know, turning in better performances, and I feel like they'll get something out of them before the end of the season. And that final game against Leeds, I mean, yeah, Leeds might be safe by then. They might not care, but, you know, Leeds can give them a good game and they'll give us a good game. So I'm not convinced West Ham are going to pick up loads of points from the rest of these games. It's just about if Tottenham can. And that's what I'm more struggling about. I think it is somewhat in our hands. I actually do, because I don't think West Ham are going to be that great. But it's just, are Tottenham going to be good enough? And that's my problem. With the injuries, like you said, it really worries me because we just don't have other profiles in the team that can do what these players, you know, are out that they can do. So, yeah, we'll see. I think the Villa game is a big telling point. I think if we go there and just get smashed, I think at that point, I think we will have to accept it because I think we'll see that if they can't get up for those games and they can't give us anything, then I can't see us getting anything from Leeds or Chelsea or Everton. But if they go there and put in a good performance and maybe get a point, at that point, I think you can still have that faith because, again, West Ham, they're not great. They're okay, but they're not great. They will lose games. They will not win all these games left. And, you know, if Tottenham turn up and play the way they can, like we did against Brighton, there's no reason why we can't go and beat Villa. Villa are not invincible. They've been very poor in moments this season. You know, and they're not, you can easily get through their defence and score goals. Chelsea are in free fall. They've been absolutely shocking for the last month. Leeds are a team that are in the been in the relegation battle all season, and they still somewhat are. I know it's only 6 points. It's not like they're completely safe right now. So, like, none of these teams that we're playing are, you know, right at the top of the league, unbelievable, you can't beat them. So yeah, we just have to wait and see what Tottenham team we get. I haven't completely given up yet. I haven't, even though I know I'm usually the one who has. I haven't, but we need to see something from these players, and that performance against Wolves just didn't give me confidence.
Yeah, I get you. Maybe
with Brentford losing tonight, they will definitely need to beat West Ham this weekend to keep their European hopes alive. So
absolutely,
you know, that's good. That's something good to hope. You know, that Brentford will get those 3 points against.
Well,
West
looking
Ham.
at next weekend, obviously, as West Ham are away at Brentford, and Brentford is traditionally quite a difficult place to go to. And as you say, they are losing tonight against Man United. They will need to pick up points for Europe, their European chase, which absolutely sounds mental when you think about that. We're talking about relegation scrap, and Brentford are talking about Europe. And obviously, we're away at Villa, but Villa are away to Nottingham Forest on Thursday evening in the Europa League semi-final. So, and then they've got the second leg next week. So we're sandwiched in between. Could potentially help us there. Both results tonight and the way that Brentford need to play it, and then sandwiched between those European guys. So it isn't over until it's over, of course. But let's hope and pray that we can somewhat find a performance, and maybe Wolves was a catalyst for us staying in the Premier League. So, as I say, thank you to everybody for joining us. All of our social media, mainly Twitter, I think we're all on, so are listed on screen. Please do give us a follow if you don't already. I see there's about just over 300 of you, so appreciate your time. We'll be back once Phil's ACL injury has been healed. Ian will be joining us as well once his ACL injury has healed. So we look forward to welcoming both of them. Hopefully, we'll probably do that after the Villa game, where hopefully we've got 3 points, and Si can take that yellow shirt off and then show us his hairy chest. And
all aboard!
For fuck's sake.
We need to clip up. We need to clip up that
Yes.
moment of Si. We need to put it everywhere because that was unbelievable.
If there is anybody that is listening or watching that is very good at clipping stuff, please go to the very beginning of this and clip the moment that Si takes his white shirt off to Hot Chocolates, You Sexy Thing. I'd be very, very grateful if you could send me that, because I'm terrible at video. But in the meantime, from all of us and Phil down there, love the photo. Take care, and we'll see you after the Aston Villa game, where hopefully it's another 3 points for the Tottenham.